Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, beautiful one. This is Through the Fire, part 28. Today, with our video today, we are actually completing this series for right now. And today, I'd like to talk about something that is quite difficult, actually, when you're going through a fire or a real wildfire or natural disaster, is believe in the impossible. And I saved one of my favorite magical stories for you last, and it involves my two animals. So after I experienced the wildfire and everything was burned, I had to wait about 2 weeks until I was allowed to drive up to the fire zone. And it was shocking. It was totally shocking because it was a war zone. I mean, there were like toxic ash everywhere, rubbles. My stove had actually melted because the fire was so hot. And pretty much all of the houses in the neighborhood were burned. The entire forest was decimated. Anyway, so I'm driving up there. There was one house in my street left. It was actually the only vacation rental where the guy only showed up once a year. That was standing. That house was standing. Anyway, so I'm driving up every day, at least twice, because I'm looking and I'm calling out for my animals. And yeah, I would show up during the day and then around sunset, because I just thought, well, if they dare to come out wherever they're hiding, it might feel safer to them if it's getting dark. So here I am. I'm driving up. Nothing ever shows. It's dead silent up there. It's very eerie, actually. And then I have this idea. I remembered that I was always singing at my house. I love to sing sacred mantras, sacred chants, also called kirtans. So I turned on a Deva Premal CD in my car, and I turned it as loud as I could, and I started singing from the bottom of my heart, singing. Okay, I had to do that for a few days, and then one night I was singing again. It was already pitch black. It was new moon. It was really black, and I noticed that the guy whose house was spared, he kept flickering the light, probably thinking like there's some mad person up in the neighborhood. Anyway, here I'm singing. I'm singing two of my favorite chants, one of which is the Gayatri mantra. And I decide, it's already pitch black, I decide to sing the Gayatri mantra again. And then I complete the song, still nothing. And I get back into the car and I have the door open and I'm just sitting there, just taking it all in. I mean, it is really a situation, an experience that is super hard to describe with words to somebody who has not gone through it. There's emptiness, there's not knowing, there is shock, there is trauma, there is anger, there's upset, there is just disbelief. It's unbelievable, actually, how many emotions show up in a situation like that. So here I am. I'm sitting in the car. There's no light on. I'm not turning, for specific reasons, I'm not turning any lights on in the car. And I'm just breathing. Just being with it all. And suddenly I hear a very particular meow. And I'm going, oh my God, that sounds like Mr. Maxi. And I'm looking for the flashlight, on the passenger seat. And sure enough, I find the flashlight, but it doesn't work. So anyway, I'm moving slow motion because I know Maxie has always been a very skittish cat. He actually adopted me and he lived outside. Yet he came and visited the house every day. So I am moving slow motion. I'm carefully putting my legs outside, and I'm, staring outside through the car door, and I'm noticing how my eyes are adjusting. And here's this meow, and suddenly I see him. Wow. I'm amazed that I'm still getting emotional. Maxie, the shyest cat I've ever known, is sitting right next to my car door. And I'm like talking to him like, my God, Mr. Maxie, wow, you are my hero. You survived the fire. How did you do that? And there he is. I'm like kneeling. Everything is covered in ash, all my clothing. And I'm just kneeling and stretching out my hand. And there he is. And he gets closer and he rubs himself, Mr. Maxie style, against me. And that was a moment where I felt such joy. It was like a joy that wants to explode your heart. And yeah, so there he was. And I actually had food in the car, so I could feed him. And I don't know how long it must have been maybe an hour, maybe two, I can't remember. It felt like eternal, spending time with this cat that made it through the fire, that made it through a fire that melted my stove. I mean, that's how tough that one was. And so from now on, I'm actually driving up there every night. And sure enough, it always takes a while. I sing, and then he shows up, and I get to pet him, and I get to feed him. And of course, one day, actually, a friend of mine reaches out and says that if I'm okay with it, she would adopt him, because obviously I was houseless, homeless. Actually, at this point, I was homeless. And I said, yes, let's do it. And she was all concerned. And she shared with me how to, pick him up and where. And it sounded so confusing. So anyway, one night we're going up there, and he comes again, and he rubs against me and my friend. And we have the cat carrier with us. And I was, knowing how skittish he can be, I was a little concerned about picking him up. So maybe I might have worn gloves, I don't know. Anyway, so here I am. I'm talking to him. I'm letting him know that he is about to be adopted by two wonderful people, and that he will live in a home. He will have a home, a house again. And he will live in a part of the forest that didn't burn. And as I shared that, I just reached out to him, and I grabbed his belly. My two hands grabbed him. Maybe it was grabbing is actually too rough. I just enveloped my hands around his dusty little body. And as I did that, he melted. And I could, with total ease, I could put him into the cat carrier. And there's actually so much more to this story. Yet this is it for tonight. At least this cat, Mr. Maxie, had made it through the fire. Tiger Lily, I was told, that's my healer cat. I was told by two actually animal mediums that she was alive, and we did everything we could and couldn't find her. So I pray that she's well wherever she is. And because Maxie actually had quite some travels. He today lives in a house, and when he chooses to, he gets to sleep in the bed. And here's kind of like the end of the story. When Maxie adopted me, I always opened the door in the winter when it was snowing and raining, and I said, come on in, come on in. But he didn't want to. He was afraid of the sliding door, as we found out. And I would tell him, as he was sitting outside in the snow, like, Maxie, in your next life, you will have a bed, and you will have goose feather blankets and pillows. And you know what? The fire was his next life, because this is what happened. Today he lives in a home, and the second couple that adopted him, had to be very patient and very loving and caring. And I hear he's not skittish anymore, and he has a bed, and he has different pillows, and he has a whole little forest outside. So yeah, it's a story where you can truly say, when you believe in the impossible, magic happens. Yeah. Okay. As you know, if you need any support or any help, please reach out to me at joya.love, www.joya.love. And I send you blessings and best wishes. Mwah.